Hello there, and welcome to the study guide of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at the theme of friendship in the novel. Now, during the time of the novel, the Great Depression, many people lacked material goods. They lacked security in their lives. Everything was uncertain. Everything was up in the air. And therefore, it's little wonder that friendship and human relationships became even more important than they'd ever been. We obviously see this in the relationship between George and Lenny, but actually at various other points through the book, we see other relationships that demonstrate how important it was for people living at the time to maintain close friendships, close human relationships. And this is important because obviously in your exam, it's important that you write about both the language and the context of the novel. So we're going to have our language points in red and our context points in green. In the exam, you'll need to be writing about both of them, and here's some ideas you could use in an essay on friendship. Okay, let's start by looking at a quotation from right at the beginning of the novel. And Lenny says to George, "But I wouldn't eat none, George. I'd leave it all for you." So this is Lenny and George talking about if they had more food, and Lenny offering to make a sacrifice for George. Look here at the first of all at the word "wouldn't." This demonstrates that Lenny would have nothing for himself because he wants to leave it all for his friend. And this shows how important George has become to him, how close their relationship is, and how important friendship is for them. Again, the word "all" demonstrates that Lenny, even though he's a big man, is going to sacrifice everything, for all of his self-interest for his friend, because what he wants to do is support him and love him and pay him back for the support and love that George has shown to him. So a couple of interesting language points here. Need to write about the context as well, don't forget. So our context point is that during the Great Depression, both characters, or all characters, need someone to support them because money and everyday items cannot be come by easily. So here, not only is Lenny offering to support George, but he's also, I think, trying to keep George's support for him by demonstrating sacrifice, by showing his love and his friendship for him. So that's one interesting point you can make. Another point you can make comes from this quotation. "No, he ain't, but he's sure a hell of a good worker, strong as a bull." So this is after George and Lenny arrive on the ranch, and they've raised questions over Lenny's suitability for the job, but George stands up for him straight away. He puts himself on the line and acts as a guarantor for his friend. Look at the word "good." This demonstrates that George is trying to make out to everybody that Lenny is a good person to have around, that he is an excellent worker. He's trying to support him and he's trying to stand up for him, because on first meeting Lenny, this isn't necessarily what people are going to think about him. So George is there to support him, to make sure that not only can he get a job, but his friend can get a job also. And again, if we're going to link this to context, we've got to remember that getting a job in the time of the Great Depression was incredibly difficult. And for somebody like Lenny, in a competitive market with lots of people around, he's going to need his friend to support him and to help him. And not only that, but it demonstrates the importance of work in the time of the Great Depression, in that Lenny absolutely must work if he is to survive. So again, we're linking the language, the fact that George stands up for Lenny and calls him a good worker, to the context that it's important for Lenny to get a job as George's friends and in the time of the Great Depression. Okay, one final quotation we're going to look at before we look at a sample answer is this one. "Candy, you can have any one of them pups you want." Now here we have the word, Slim uses the word "you want," and it demonstrates that he's giving Candy freedom to choose. He's giving him choice, and he's saying, look, this is something you can control. You're my friend, and I'm going to give you options. And this is really significant because obviously in the time of the Great Depression, people didn't have much choice. They didn't have many options open to them. So the fact that a friend is able to provide choice for their friend is really, really significant. And there are many other examples of this in the novel if you go and look for them. So to link this to the context again, it's important to note that during the time of the Great Depression, people did not have the right to choose much, but and a lot of what they had been taken away from them. So just these small things, the giving of a puppy, became really significant and could be not only the foundations of friendship, but demonstrate the closeness of friendships. Okay, few quotations you could write about there. Let's have a look at exactly how you would write about them in an exam situation. Have a look at this answer for a question on friendship. "During the Great Depression, people lost everything they had, and friendship was one of the things that stayed with them forever, no matter where they went. We kind of look after each other." Steinbeck uses this to demonstrate the closeness between Lenny and George. and demonstrates that they had each other to look out for. The word we implies that they are both united, and also the phrase look after implies that they are important to each other and that they stand up for each other. This clearly links to the context of the novel, as during the Great Depression it was significant that people stood up for each other and looked out for each other more, and you could go on to say that they needed this help and support far more than they ever had. So we've got two different language points we're pulling out of that quotation, and then we've linked that to the context of the novel, and that's exactly what you have to do in your exam. Okay then. Just to recap, of Mice and Men, the theme of friendship. During the Great Depression, many people lacked material goods and, what does that word say, security. Friendship and new relationships are therefore more important than they ever had been. Don't forget that in the exam, you need to write about the language of your chosen quotations and the context of the novel. Hope it's been helpful. Thank you for watching.